Hello everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the first chapter of the first actual part of the history of the concept of time by Martin Heidegger, the sense and task of phenomenological research, and this chapter is called The Emergence and Breakthrough of Phenomenological Research. So this is primarily going to be about the history of people getting to the point where they start doing phenomenology. The next chapter is actually going to be about phenomenology proper. This is just about the history. First, the beginning of the 19th century from Heidegger's point of view. Idealism has collapsed. Philosophy has become a theory of the physical sciences or the natural sciences. People are failing to do philosophy and instead are focusing on what he calls traditional modes of questioning. So for Heidegger, philosophy is the process, or at least often philosophy is the process of having some sort of authentic set of questions that you want to answer and allowing these questions to be your guide. Now, Kant takes a certain line of questioning, and that's how he arrives at the positions he arrives at. But these other people are, instead of having authentic questions like that they want answered, that they're trying to answer, they simply repeat the questions and the mode and the order of questions that others have asked in the past because that was like the order that those questions were asked by them. Now, Heidegger is very interested in positivism, or what he calls positivism. This is concerned with verifiable facts. These are things that can be measured or verified in some way. Maybe they're testable. The people that he identifies as pushing this are John Locke and Auguste Comte. I'm not sure how to say that. I don't super care. But yeah, there was a large movement which was interested only in these verifiable facts. A man named William Dilthey, however, was interested in what Heidegger calls the historical sciences. This is the anthropological ones. This required him to focus on psychology. This was opposed to focusing specifically on the natural sciences. The natural sciences are things that you can study without paying attention to a person's experiences. But his anthropology started turning him to a focus specifically on psychology, and Heidegger identifies his project as one that was led by genuine questioning. This would later be perverted and destroyed by men named Wilhelm Windelbrand and Heinrich Rickert. Windelbrand. What a good name. But yeah, this blossomed into a study of psychology. It was considered a scientific philosophy. It had its own domain and method, which was different from the other areas of study and methodologies. And it was supposed to give a foundation to the other sciences through being a study of psychology, being a study of man. Brentano, who would eventually be the teacher of Edmund Husserl, was very interested in this. He focused specifically on consciousness. And because he saw psychology, or empirical psychology, as something which wasn't scientific in the sense of the natural sciences, he excluded scientific methodology from the study of philosophy, which was for him the same as the study of psychology. This study was something distinct from the study of, say, matter, or the study of trees, or something like that. Those would be other areas of science that have their own methodologies, and you couldn't use those methodologies in studying psychology because it was a distinct domain. Brentano was famous for his doctrine that intentionality was the mark of the mental. He was interested in how there's a goal-directedness to human thoughts. So he would try to define the difference between something psychic and something physical as a difference of indwelling versus not indwelling. This is kind of like a first-person experience type thing. And like I said, he had an interest in intentional existence, which is like a directing itself towards something else. My idea about Abraham Lincoln is about him. It's directed towards him. And his project was largely about classifying and ordering these different types of indwelling or intentional existence. He also thought that every kind of intentionality either is or is based on a representation. So we have representations of things in our mind, and all of our thoughts are, on some level, in some way, based on these representations. And then finally, one of Brentano's students, Edmund Husserl, was a mathematician who attempted to apply Brentano's thought to math. His initial interest was in analyzing the structure of the object of mathematics, which was number. So he was interested in the psychology of math. However, he eventually moved to general epistemology and logic. He, in the early 1900s, I believe 1901, released a book called The Logical Investigations, where he started talking about phenomenology. And Dilthey, if you remember from Two People Previous, actually got a reading group together and spent a whole decade studying the logical investigations by Husserl. He thought they were that important. And then eventually this will lead into Heidegger's life. However, Heidegger does not include his own personal history here. So that will be all for this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you're ready for the next one. The next video is going to be about phenomenology proper. So it's going to have sections on intentionality and the categorical intuition in specific. So I hope you're hyped.